Trying to be better. I'm 35, and I've realized at 35, it's been me all along. I think that's what you learn at 35, you know? In my 20s, I was having a good time, not paying attention. And then I hit 30, and I'm like, I gotta cut some of these toxic people out of my life. And then I hit 35, and I was like, oh, it was me? It's been me this entire time? Damn it. I thought it was David. I haven't talked to him in like 5 years. I need to apologize. It's a tough one, you know? So I started going to therapy, you know, working on me. Any therapy people out there? Hey, a couple people. How long you been going?
On and off for like 4 years.
4 years? All right, I'm still new to it. I'm like a year in. If you've never been to therapy, when you first walk in, they tell you, hey, just so you know, whatever is said in this room stays in this room. And I remember hearing that going, not if I was a therapist. How do you just listen to all that juicy gossip all day and then go home to your family like, I can't. How do you do that? How do you go home and make them watch 90 Day Fiancé knowing that you heard way better stuff at the office for 8 hours? Like, my therapist knows I'm a comedian. Like, I have videos online. She never goes home, has a couple bottles of wine, and pulls up one of my videos, shows her husband, like, hey, you want to know the backstory to this joke? Little director's cut? Who wouldn't want a little of that? I think it's good. It's weird. I have a therapist, but I don't have health insurance. So, like, I'm taking care of my brain, but my body, we're rolling the dice on that. My brain, I got a therapist. For my body, I bought an Apple Watch. That's what I got, because there's a heart rate monitor on there. So if I'm ever like, am I doing okay? I'll just look. I'm like, hell yeah, we're still pumping. We're doing just fine. But every once in a while during therapy, I try to throw in some medical questions, you know? It's $100 a week. I want to get my money's worth. And she's the closest I know to a doctor, you know? So I'll shoehorn in some medical questions. Like one time I was like, yeah, sometimes when I urinate, my testicle hurts. And she's like, well, how do you feel about that? Insecure? I think that's how I'd label that feeling. Pretty insecure, man. I asked her all sorts of dumb questions. Get your money's worth, you know? I asked her if I was schizophrenic, and she's like, I don't think so. And I'm like, all right. She's like, why do you think you're schizophrenic? And I'm like, there's a voice in my head. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, who is it? I'm like, it's me. She's like, I think you're good. I'm like, all right. And she's like, what do you guys talk about? I'm like, jokes, mainly. Yeah, you're doing just fine. And it made me wonder. I wonder if there's like a positive schizophrenia. You know, you only hear about the negative schizophrenia. But if there's like a positive schizophrenia, wouldn't that be great? You're just walking down the street and a voice you don't recognize is just like, you're doing great. And you're like, hell yeah! Not getting pills for that one. That one's a keeper. I'm gonna keep that one for a while, you know. Yeah, I started going to therapy when I made the realization that this is what I'm doing right now. This is where I feel safe to share my thoughts and feelings. This is how I prefer it be done. I prefer to be slightly elevated and illuminated and amplified, and I like it to be frowned upon for you to interrupt me. That's where I feel comfortable. And once I made that realization, I'm like, I gotta run this by somebody, because this can't be healthy. This is like the makings of a narcissist, you know? So I started going to therapy. We talk about everything. We talk about depression. I think there's different levels of depression. I have what I like to call the medium kind. You know, just right here, just the healthy amount, you know? Just enough to keep me humble and likable. You know, like a regular guy. You ever meet someone who could use a little depression? You know what I mean? Those annoyingly, like, optimistic people all the time. Every day's an opportunity. And like, he could use a dash. He could use a pinch of depression. He could use a parking ticket on a rainy day. Yeah, I have the healthy amount of depression, you know? Like, I would never kill myself, but I would like to die naturally soon. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's just called being a human being. You know? Like, I would never do it, but can we pick a day? Tell me where to be. I feel like some of you get it, some of you don't. Like, if I was on a plane and it was going down, I'd scream, but I wouldn't be the loudest. You know what I mean? Like, I'd yell loud enough so no one around me got suspicious that I'm the reason it's going down, but I'm not going to be all dramatic about it. I'll give it a healthy, That's enough of that. It's something hard. It's good. Learned so much about myself, you know? Found out I have anxiety. I had no idea. I thought I was just polite. You ever confuse being polite with anxiety? I made that mistake. I found that out in the office. She's like, what goes on in your head in a given situation? I'm like, I'll give you a situation. Like when I'm on a plane and we're deboarding, I count the rows. And in my head, I'm like, all right, when that lady gets up, I'm going to get up and get that bag. Don't forget to get that bag. And the camera's under there. And at that point, my fiance will go, is everything okay? Are you all right now? I'm like, shut up. Are you ready? You need to be ready. And she's like, what is going on right now? I'm like, it's our turn. Let's go. Because I don't want to take half an extra second getting my bag down because maybe someone behind me will punch me in the back of the head. Because that's how I feel. If I'm getting off a flight and you're in front of me and you're like, is my bag over there or over there? I'm like, I think we get to kill him. And I don't want to be the victim in this made-up scenario. And I thought I was just being polite, but that's not. That's anxiety. You're not a good person at all. Just someone yelled at you when they should have hugged you during your developmental years. 30 years later, that manifested into, I gotta get out of here. I don't know. I'm also hyper-aware. Which I thought that was just a good thing. It's good to be hyper-aware. No, it's not as bad. So I've been trying to be more vocal about it. You know, I've been telling my fiance, filling her in. Here's the situation. Like, we were going on a walk in our neighborhood, and we were going to cross the street. We were crossing the street diagonally. And halfway into the street, I noticed there's a woman walking her dog, and I did the geometry. I'm like, by the time we get to that side, we're just gonna be awkwardly next to her. We're just gonna be next to her while she's walking her dog. So in the middle of the street, I called an audible. I'm like, we're going that way. And then as we're going that way, I realized we're gonna end up in front of a cafe where two dudes are having lunch, and we're just awkwardly gonna be in front of their table. What if they look up? We make eye contact. I gotta say something. I'm gonna have to go, the weather. And she saw my eyes darting around, and she's like, is everything okay? Are you all right? And like an idiot, I told her. And she goes, oh my God, you're a lunatic. And I was like, yeah. That's where it's at. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to get better sharing my feelings off stage. Because for some reason, I'm comfortable here. You know where I'm uncomfortable? Everywhere else. You know where I'm the least comfortable? At the grocery store. Like, if someone's walking down my aisle and we do this thing for half a second, I'd rather be lit on fire. I'd rather that. I'm trying to share my feelings, but it's hard, because I was raised to keep your thoughts and feelings in your heart. That's where they belong. Don't let them out. Keep them in your heart. That's where they're meant to be. Because what happens if you have a thought in your heart and you let it out and someone hears it and goes, good Lord, I'm going to have to report that. I think legally I have to report that. What happens if you have a thought? It comes out. Next thing you know, you're storming the Capitol. That was someone's in here idea. He should have kept it in there. But it slipped out, and before he could grab it, there's already a guy dressed like a yak next to him. He's like, oh, I guess we're doing it. That was my favorite guy at the riots. I don't know if you're allowed to have a favorite guy, but if I had to pick, it'd be the guy who's dressed like a water buffalo. Because I just imagine him showing up to the rally that day, looking around and going, I misread that email. I messed that up all the way. Oh, you guys are fun, man. Doesn't it feel like it's almost over? You know? Not my set, like the Earth. Doesn't it feel like we're just about done? Earth feels like a restaurant that's trying to close, and humanity's just that last table in the corner not getting the hint. We're just sitting there sipping our seltzers going, why is everyone vacuuming? Because it's over. COVID's still around, but we don't care, you know? COVID was like the world's stepdad. You know, I don't know if anyone had a stepdad. I had a couple growing up. Nobody. All right, just judgy stares. I appreciate that. One guy, thank you. COVID was like a stepdad. He just came in and made a bunch of new rules. You know, didn't want to see your face. If he had to, he wanted to be 6 feet away. But Now COVID is like that stepdad that's slowly breaking up with your mom, where he still comes around, but you don't have to listen to him anymore. He still comes around, and he's like, huh? And you're like, nah, mom's already on Tinder. You're not in charge here anymore. You guys have been wonderful. I've been Zoltan Kaszas. Thank you, everybody.